The Vineyard Music Group is proud to present Worship Team Dynamics, practical instruction on refining your skills as a worship leader. Here are your hosts, Randy and Terry Butler.
We're going to talk this morning about worship team dynamics. And, I think this is the first time here at a Vineyard conference where they've ever done a general session here in the sanctuary that's quote-unquote on one of those real practical topics. But you know what? It's more than practical, isn't it? Because our Lord invented music. Our God gave us a vehicle. He gave us a way for us to express ourselves. So to separate in this thing called worship team dynamics and worship itself, to separate the music from spiritual dynamics, spiritual parts of worship would be a crime. It's wrong. They need to be put together. There's a uniting here. God gave us the scale. God gave us the keys to play in. God gave us instruments to express ourselves with. And you and I, those of us who are involved and engaged in this worship team process and bringing forth on Sunday morning the music, the vocals and the instruments to usher people in, we are facilitators, aren't we? The goal is not to be a hot band. Everybody say that with me. The goal is not to be a hot band. That's not it. We miss it royally if we think that. We are to usher others in. If the lady in the back row didn't meet God, if she wasn't able to sing and enter in because of the cacophonous sounds going on at the front, there's a word for you. If we didn't let the elder in the third row enter in, what are we doing? Our job is not to show them the hottest licks and everything that we know how to do. Our job is to bring them into the throne room, to usher them in. It's very important. And we can hinder it. I wonder how many of you out there, we won't do a vote, but I wonder how many of you have said, why aren't the people engaging in worship? And I wonder how often we, the worship team, are the problem. At times we are. I've done it. It's very important that we look at ourselves as facilitators. That's really, really important. So, that's what this is about. We're going to talk about this whole process of us helping them to engage in worship. All right?
For most of us, we're aware that worship is made up of these things called songs. Right? And music has order, and songs are part of that order. We don't start out worship on Sunday morning by saying, okay, we're going to be in G for a while, and then we're going to C. I was thinking about the start of the Olympics, and I was watching John Williams. He was in a massive choir singing with them, an incredible orchestra. Can you imagine him tapping, going, it's in G, just play something. How terrible. There's order to music. And even for some of you, you're not readers of music. You're readers of chords. And for others of you, you have to read the music. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, about how to blend that. On the same team, there may be those that are having to read the chords or play from the chords, or some of you just play by memory. You just go, okay, it goes like that, all right, and you learn it. And for others, you're staring at what the notes are, and you need that in front of you. And so you're aware of the fact that there is, though, this structure. Songs have a structure. And we're going to be talking about arranging for the worship team. And in arranging, we think of something. I don't know what that word does to you, but for a lot of us, we think, arranging? We don't need arrangements of these songs. This is worship. How many of you are a part of the worship process on Sunday mornings or at your church in some capacity? Well, see, most of you, I need to tell you that you are arranging. if you're doing songs, you're doing arrangements of those songs. You're not just getting the chords together. You are working out some form of an arrangement. And certain arrangements of songs help to bring about worship better. Better, good. Okay? You got that? So you want it to be, you want music to work for you. Music was created by God, given to us, and it's that which is supporting and supplying so much of the emotion in what we're doing and how we're expressing our heart to God. The point of worship is to connect with God.
That's right.
And you know how sometimes you know how sometimes it works, and you know how sometimes it doesn't. And I just have to demonstrate some of this. This is a new feature.
The music stand that goes with you everywhere.
We can put a man on the moon. But, well, never mind. How we're sometimes playing through a song. I got to pick one of my own because this could get really scary. I mean, I was doing something one Sunday morning and singing through it, and these thoughts are kind of running through my mind. This song has never worked. No one's even thinking about worshiping while we're doing this, and it's the team's not clicking, and this arrangement doesn't work with the song, and you know that feeling. You know when it's wrong, and you also know when it's right. And a lot of times, it's not even apparent. I'm going to take a stab. I'd say to 90% of the people, it's not apparent why it's working. To 90% of the people that are worshiping, they don't know that it was the lead player who played the very last, he played lines or the melody over top of what was going on through the very last chorus. And that's what caused Harold, if you're Harold, I'm sorry, I really am, but I could use...
Right, it made Harold worship though, didn't it?
Yeah, but it made Harold worship. Harold stood up for that last chorus. He just went, well, if they're going to play lead, I better get up. He got up and he just went, that's right, it's right to worship, And that's what this is about. The point of worship is to connect with God. And musical arrangements...
That's right, that brings you there.
Can bring you there. Not only on the side of it building lift to music, but also on the side of bringing us to a place of intimacy. If there was one thing I want you to walk away with in talking about this thing of arranging, it's the blessedness of simple. The blessedness of simple. So often, we're in a situation, and in the conclusion, it's not sounding right. The conclusion to the problem, it's not sounding right, is it needs something. What does it need? And then, after we've gotten that far, we think, if we just had what was on the recording. I just remember Bruce was playing this thing on Andy's recording, and that's what we need. Or no, it was this little part that somebody was playing on a keyboard part. We need that. But it still doesn't sound right, so we're tempted to fill up all the songs with more instruments. I've had the opportunity to go to places where they would have me essentially talk to them about their worship team. Maybe in their mind, it got to the code red side. It's like, it's bad and we need help. We need someone to come in and help us. And so I've had the opportunity to sit and listen to worship bands and worship teams and to speak into it. No, it's very touchy. It's very hard. You don't know what to say. You're thinking, yikes. You're right. It sounds bad. And I'd have to agree with you there. It does sound bad. Let me make this comment. Most of the time, it's not what's being played.
That's right.
It is what's being played in the sense it's not what you play, it's what you don't play. there's a common feeling among worship band members in particular, and oh, wait a minute, I got to be fair, it's singers too, that here's the conclusion they've come to. Well, I know that they're talking about us getting simple and that kind of thing, and we should, but I know that my special part really is that which enhances worship, because people have told me that. You know, that you were walking out of the worship service and somebody grabbed you and said, "Oh, I saw it. There were things flying off your guitar," or, you know, or when you sang that part, you know, and they got a little quiver in their voice or something, you know, and you're just thinking, that's right, it is anointed. I knew it. And so, excuse me. I had to do that. So what happens is that we may get the idea that when we play things, it's extra special. And so the conclusion we've come to is the song has started, therefore I must be playing. And so we jump in. The song has started, therefore I must be singing. You're laughing, but some of you have thought this thought. You know, the song started, I better be in. It's A minor, isn't it? I thought so. You know, and so what happens is that we fill every possible space of the song.
That's right.
Back to my point, the blessedness of simple. A lot of times it's not what you play, it's what you don't play. And that is my basic rule to arranging. I went to plant a church, it's 5 years ago. 3.5 years ago, I started working with the team. I didn't have a team, I had a keyboard player. And that was, we were just working out, learning to play together and starting to do things together. And then we added from that a guitar player. And there were nights when I would call Terry after practice. And we had come from the same church, playing with the band for over 20 years. And we knew when the other person was going to sneeze. I mean, it was easy. You know, the directions were easy, and we'd been playing together for a long time. And here I was in a situation with musicians, and I thought that I expected something of them that they couldn't deliver. And I was frustrating them. And it was tough. You know, they're in therapy now, actually. I was kidding with Terry. I said, you know, one of them has just started to eat by himself, and it's really good. I really did beat them up sometimes, and I'm just making these demands, and they're looking at me like, are you from Mars? What's the story here? You know? And what had happened is I'd call Terry and I would say, you know, it's bad, Terry, it's just bad, you know, and he'd kind of burp me over the phone, you know, it's like, there, you know, you could get through this. And it's funny thing is that he ended up going to a different place a little while later, and he called one night, Randy, you know, it's like, yes, Terry, you know, it's bad.
It's true.
There's this sound.
There's a sound.
I don't know where it's coming from.
It was sort of
but it's bad.
Well, it was sort of a nasal whistle sound that one of our players was making during Refiner's Fire, and it just didn't work. You know, it's, Refiner's Fire.
So I burped him over the phone. There.
Oh, thank you.
It's okay. The process of starting this band was news to me, and it caused me to find out what the fundamentals are of music. It brought me back to this place. Now, I have a multi-tracking, and that doesn't mean much to you, but a multi-tracking understanding of music in that I've been a part of the recording process. And especially in the 70s and 80s when multi-tracking became extremely popular, it still is you laid down your basic track. So you had basic instruments do certain parts, and then you added to that. And in leading a band, I've learned to do somewhat the same thing. I've learned that it's a little different than just having any old band. But the basic of the song for a worship leader is the worship leader and his or her instrument. That's at the ground floor. I tell my team that they're unnecessary. They don't like me telling them that sometimes, but they've gotten used to it, you know. And I say, you're not needed to pull this off this morning. If we have to, if for some reason my guitar broke or something terrible happened, we'll have worship with just our voices. There is no greater or more significant instrument than our voices. This is where, if we're going to connect with God, our expression in our words of love to God and our praise and our exaltation starts there. That's the ground floor. Next to that is whatever instrument. It's keyboard or guitar that we're playing. And then I would say that the next most important thing in the arranging process, after we have that basic part down, is some kind of rhythm instrument that's holding things together. Now, I'd like to have the team that we're going to use for demonstration come out this time. And that's you guys. That's right. Come on.
All right. All right.
Introduce them quickly.
Yeah. Bass player over here, been playing with him for many years, is Rob Wasson. He's going to be playing bass on this demonstration. And then, Brian Thiessen will be doing some guitar for us. And Bill Dragoo on drums. Kelly Carpenter, second keyboards. And Davin is going to do some percussion for us.
Now, giving some examples, this is what's important. I don't want to just speak to you about it. I want to show you the arrangement process. If I'm saying that I can pull off worship with just the instrument and the voice, or just the voice, actually. And let me put my plug in here. For those of you that are singers in the worship process, it doesn't matter that you sing pretty. It's very helpful if you can sing notes that are in tune. That's good. But that's not even completely, that's not essential. I know people that kind of slip and slide around and just kind of get there and so forth. What is important is that you sing out. What is important that you sing with a certain amount of authority. That doesn't mean that every song you're belting it out. That doesn't mean that you're having to feel like you're physically forcing the sound down the chord into the mixer and out through the speakers. Okay? Which has happened. I think I've literally actually seen the electromagnetic charges go through. But it is important that you're obvious and you're followable in your singing. Now, we're talking about the worship leading process, and this is important, that you don't just kind of sing off mic. Very good. And the sound man's just like going, oh, forget it. Those of you that are worship leaders, don't say the background people will cover it because I got to play this part. Or eye contact. These are very simple and basic worship leading instructions. Eye contact, singing things that are obvious and followable. As a worship leader, I seldom sing harmony. As a worship leader, I take rides from time to time, but I'm cautious about what those rides are. I wait and know that the Lord's really stirring me to do that. That's the basic thing that's underneath of it. Then comes the playing, and I also play things that are obvious and followable. So that's at the ground floor of this. And then I add, and if I was going to add something, I'm going to have Davin demonstrate for me. It would be best if it was on mic, but he's going to demonstrate for me what we could do if with just two instruments. And by the way, at my church we're doing this. We're playing more and more with just some percussion and guitar. Or sometimes we play just a little bit of that, and then I'll restrict my keyboard player. I say, you play anything with your right hand, I have a hatchet. I'm coming to take that hand off. So I'll let him just play some left hand stuff. So what I'll do some Sunday mornings, and then I'll have the djembe kind of come in and kind of start playing behind this, or I'll have a shaker with me. Now that's just as two of us. And it doesn't have to be much. Now we're going to add Terry, just left hand, Terry. You got the idea. There's a point here. A lot of music can be made with just a few things. We have something holding it together. It's surprising how much rhythm. How many of you have discovered the chicken shake? Okay? You have the little egg. Bill, do you have one right there? Okay. Shake it into that mic there and see if they could pick that up or whatever. The idea, sometimes could you give me that, a little bit of feed there? Maybe you can, I don't know. But if he could just hold something together and Terry could play something to it. Is there a better mic to use? I guess not. For sure that'll be. Sometimes it's just the most subtle thing, and this is for demonstration purposes. I'm saying that it's your voice, it's a basic instrument, keyboard in this case, and now just some kind of something holding tempo together. Sing a line, great.
Before you now, in the beauty of your presence, and as I bow, you surround me with your radiance. I worship.
Now we're going to add to it.
I worship. I worship.
That's good. Now, let me say this very important point about someone playing a rhythm instrument. And I hope I can do this without unhinging my jaw and swallowing this microphone. Time is critical. I don't know how many times now I've heard the story of people going out and purchasing a drum set. That does not make you a drummer. Owning multiple pairs of sticks doesn't make you a drummer. Okay? Time. Holding time is what it's about. It's not owning the equipment. Holding time, being able to keep time. If we said that music has order, time is at the bottom of this. When you start to put musical instruments together, time is essential. And especially for someone who's decided that they're going to play shaker, or I bought a conga, or I got a djembe last week, Fine. Practice. Get that thing called the metronome. Now, some of you just had one of those reactions, not the metronome. And some of you might even say this, oh, those things speed up, Oh, man, those things slow down. I've never found one yet that worked.
Now, Randy, I'm in the process right now of, I have 3 drummers at the church I'm at, and 2 of the 3 drummers, the time issue, the metronome issue is there. They're locking in, and they do lock in. And the 3rd drummer is really learning that process right now. And what he's doing is he's stripping away all the things that he thought he had to do to make it all happen. And he's getting down to the basics. I call it meat and potatoes, where the kick drum and the snare are hanging in there. And if it's a 4/4 song, they're just doing the simple things, but they're doing them in time. So they've had to strip away, strip back, and I've got him quoting this thing every day. The metronome is my friend. I want all of you to say it.
Yes.
Let's all say it together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The metronome is my friend. It will help you. Randy and I went through that process early on growing up musically. In a family that was musical, we started playing instruments and having fun with them. And my brother-in-law, he got a hold of us. And he was light years ahead of us already musically. And he made us sit down and play the same song, sometimes for an hour. Somebody's saying, oh, that sounds fun. An hour on the same song is not that fun. And we'd say, oh, we want to go do this, or we went, no, you didn't do what I said. Go back. And he knew what he was doing. He was helping us. He was actually helping us get to a place of freedom on our instrument, because rhythm was not going to be an issue anymore. We locked that time thing in, and it really helped us.
Great. So I can't emphasize enough. Now we've picked on those that are playing rhythm instruments. Let me talk to you that are leaders. Metronomes don't cost very much. And some of you are banking or holding on to or trying to say, well, it's that person's job to hold time. In a band situation, it's everyone's responsibility to know time. Did you really absorb that? It's everyone's responsibility to know time. Did you know that singers need to know time? Guitar players notoriously rush through whatever lines they're playing. It's natural for us to get excited, and we speed up. I explain to people, if time is the center of the road, where the line is, we can vary in and out of that somewhat, a certain amount. And songs do that. They breathe. They're alive. So sometimes the choruses are just slightly faster, and then you go back to the verse and it's back to another tempo, a little slower. But when they vary too much, many things can happen. And in a congregational setting especially, I wish I could demonstrate this well, but it's hard to do that. It's hard to kind of show you. But I've been in situations where I'd be worshiping and the whole crowd is into it and they're singing and they're clapping to something. You know, and then it got to the chorus and the song just took off. Boom! And then, but it became kind of, it was hard to figure out where tempo was. And so people, after a while, you know, if they start to get self-conscious about clapping, well, I'm not clapping with them, and it's sounding different over here, and is this really locking with what's going on with the band? Then they stop. And what's happening is they're disengaging in the clapping process, and it can also cause them to disengage in the singing. And after a while, they're kind of listening, because they don't know exactly what the band's going to do. Time is so essential. Time is so important. If you want to grow someplace in your musical ability, sit down with yourself, with the metronome, and be able to, guitar players, be able to make those changes in time. You know? And that's what a lot of it's about. It's about practice. And I've got it right at this point, too, interject what Terry was saying. I need to tell you that we just played awful for such a long time. I'll just tell on us. We did, and we had so many musical people surrounding us and influences in our lives, and they would just they would pull us aside sometimes and go, no, you know, that does not work. That's a train wreck. Or, man, you're rushing through that. That sounds really bad. They'd also tell us the places where it sounded really good, and they'd encourage. And we had mentors musically, and that was important. But we were at an age then where we were receiving that. And an interesting thing happens to us as we get older. We start to become more insecure and more sensitive of the fact that people play and they may have more ability than we do. And you're here and you're in a team situation. It's very possible that there are those that are players and they can play and they have some of these things worked out, but you don't, and you're feeling an insecurity about that. Don't let that insecurity and that feeling stop you from growing musically. How many of you have seen Mr. Holland's Opus? Yeah, it had that effect on you too, huh? What about that little spot when she's playing clarinet and it does just sound like, ooh, that's bad, you know? But when he puts the joy of discovery is the words that I've coined to this. The fun back in it, the inspiration back in it. Then she can play it, and there's soul and there's feeling. And oftentimes we get kind of mechanical about it, and we've taken all the fun out of it. And my hope for you is that you won't leave with this, I got to get better. You'll leave with, oh God, take me on an adventure, this adventure you have me on in music. This is fun. This is fun. Bring the joy back of discovering new chords and finding another way to play A and finding another way to play this chord and not saying, you're not playing a D because this is a D. Don't tell me that's a D, because this is D. Did you know that there might be two? Is it possible? You know? And sometimes we get so locked into what we've learned, and we're not learning and growing anymore musically. I challenge you. Grow in your instrument. Don't stop and say, you know, when we started out, we did a lot of C things, and doggone them, they're gone to G. What's wrong with them? You know? And it's important that you keep growing. It's important that it's vital. Because you don't want to stop someplace and kind of just dig in your heels. You can. Guitar players, you can learn bar chords. I just talked to somebody recently. They were just saying, I'm learning them. Makes my tongue stick out. But I'm learning them.
Tell them about your pinky. Things like that.
I tell people all the time, they go, how do you get your pinky to do that? I go, my pinky won't do anything. My pinky won't cooperate. I have to tell it what to do. Get over there, I told you, you know. And you're saying, my pinky won't play anything. My pinky wouldn't play anything. I had to say to it, no, you're going over here. Sometimes I had to physically, reach over with the other hand and go, pinky, stay right there, And how about that feeling you get when you go, it's cramping up, I can feel it, And you're saying, and I took a lot of mini risks. Now this is important. I took a lot of mini risks because I could practice it really well Thursday afternoon, and I did it again Saturday night, but then Sunday morning came and I was like, are you going to go over there or what? Oh, Father, I pray for this pinky right now that it would submit to your power and
dominion, yeah.
So, but I took little mini risk and I'd flub it on the first verse, and the second verse I was able to play it, and little small accomplishments. You're on a journey musically. Hello? You're on a journey musically. Now, so those of you that are playing better and you're playing with some of the players that are just starting on this journey, you're like going, oh yeah, this is great. This is a breath of fresh air. I want to challenge you to be there and to be mentors and teachers and not have this, it's about time type attitude that could be there in your team. This is an internal team struggle thing that really has to be put to rest. We're in this together. We're a team. We're learning this stuff together. So as you're growing, we need to be pulling for one another. Yeah, that's it. You got it. You got it. That's the thing. It's happening now, and we're working together. And it's terrible when it polarizes into this place where there are those of us that have real heart for God and we just play our chords, and there are those of us that are good musically. Folks, those are not mutually exclusive. Those are not opposite ends of the spectrum. It's possible to be good musically and have heart and be a worshiper. Newsflash! So it's possible to grow in your music. And I got a question for you. How many of you expect to be doing this in 10 years? I sure do. I'm going to go to my grave singing to the Lord, playing. They're going to get me up there and prop me up. Let's see, what was that again? I told you to get over there.
That's right. Let's demonstrate the busyness.
You got the idea? All right. So I'm on a journey, and I'm still on that journey. 2 years ago, I went to play Light the Fire Again or something, and Mike, the guitar player that plays with Terry, played last night. He goes, Brian, I don't think Brian's doing that on the recording. And I'm going, really? Well, what is he doing? I'm always on a hunt to find out what's going on musically. I haven't stopped someplace and said, no, that's quite enough. That's just quite enough. Maybe you're not learning songs anymore because you're just going, oh, that's just 5 chords out of my reach. Learn the 5 chords. You can do it. You can do it. And make it fun. It's not like I have to, or joy of discovery. You're on a journey. Let's demonstrate some more about time and tempo and setting up the basics. We're going back to where we were in arranging, and we're talking about how the basics are your voice and your instrument as a leader. And then we're adding something that's rhythm. A lot of times that for you, that's drums. And then the next instrument after that would be bass. Something that's holding down, anchoring down, giving, that's part of rhythm as well, bass is, but it's something that's giving a lot of the, it's emphasizing what's already been played in the chords as the root. And bass and drums together, establish what we call, in a musical term, groove. And there's a basic groove that's to a song. And if you're playing Light the Fire Again, you know what that groove is, because many of you, sat there listening to your record, kind of going, "What are they doing again?" And is it da da? No, wait a minute. No, he's going da da dun dun da da. That's it. That's what it is. Yeah, you got it. And so you were learning and picking apart what the basic groove is to the song. So if we're playing that again, let's have Dav play, and then we'll add some band stuff behind it, and then T can kind of do what he does. The idea, the basic groove behind that is, if you're bass and drums, let's just add djembe and the bass and drums. 2, 3, 4 now. Okay, thank you. That's the idea. Now, working with that, now they're playing a groove. There's a lot of things you're going, well, you could get the notes technically right. Something that's not happening when we're playing is the song is not leaning forward. I can't demonstrate this very well either, except that I did it last time. Terry, you go out and lean forward for us. Show us what a song is like leaning forward. You kind of walk kind of in a forward position. Yeah, this would be great. Yeah. Songs tend to, when you play them, that was pretty good. Songs leaning forward kind of stumble over themselves. This is a common mistake when it comes to setting time and tempo. You could even be playing to a click track. You could be playing to a metronome, and the song can still be leaning forward. One of the best ways for that to happen, and to establish the feel of the groove, is for the snares, for the 2 and the 4s, to be held back a little bit. Okay, so Bill's going to demonstrate this. We could play the bass part down. Da, da. Rob, go ahead and give us that. Da, 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 da. You can play this mechanical like a machine, and it would just sound like da, 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 da. And it doesn't have the same kind of a feel. But if it sits back and has the kind of slidey thing to it, Bill, you need to add. We'll have Davin add, so we could do kind of what the tom part's doing, and Bill, you can add kind of a little bit what the backbeat part of it is to it. What you're hearing, this. Now, you listening? Okay, you can all do that. Reach your hand out now. Don't hit your neighbor. That's different than this. Because this would be early. That's later. Okay, make this noise. You're making the song breathe. Thank you, guys. It's great. Hey, you're good. All right. Making the song breathe and establishing the groove. Now, this can work also. Terry, we're going to do, let's do Yahweh and start walking through that. Why don't you lead on this one, and you can show how we're going to demonstrate not only time and tempo and groove, but some other things while we do Yahweh. We've picked Yahweh as a good song for this. I'm giving you a demonstration right now of a slow song that also has a place for it to sit back, lay back. In general, when I talk to my team, or to any team, go ahead and come in, guys. I tell people, there, Davin, why don't you, just play the djembe part. I explain to them that in learning this thing about feel in music, The tendency for most people is for the song to lean forward. What makes songs feel good is for them to lean slightly back. Okay? Instead of the song stumbling over itself, it's better for the song to lean back slightly. When you're taking that nice romantic stroll, think about that part for slow songs. Right? That's great. Good demonstration.
Yeah.
Now we're going to show you some insensitivity in the arranging process. Our favorite part of demonstrating this. Okay, Bill, let's just start the same song and
Yeah. Second verse.
I think you guys can play insensitive.
I think they can do it. We're going to start from the second verse and sing along with me and see if you notice what we're talking about. Here we go, folks. Here's your chance, Kel. All right. He's been waiting over there. Here we go. Second verse. Yahweh, Yahweh, faithful one. Oh, I'm getting blessed. Oh, you have shown us the way. Oh, yeah. Through the years, through all our lives. The people that are watching this by video just left to get something to eat. All right.
Wow. There was some choice stuff in there. I hope you were digesting it.
Now, this goes back to what Randy was talking about early on. The fact that every hole was getting filled up. Everybody was doing too much, right? Too much. More than enough. Songs are like our lungs. They have to, we have to breathe. Songs breathe. Earlier on, you were hearing them. Davin on the djembe was playing a pattern, and he wasn't adding all kinds of things. He wasn't doing he was not all over the place having, there's a time for that on a certain kind of a song, but it's not Yahweh. Right? And the drummer was back there saying, I haven't tried out that new cymbal yet, and I'm going to nail it right here. Haul off and paste it. We'll show that. But
wait till they hear this patch.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And everybody's going, I will show you what I can do.
Right. This time we're going to play it through, and we want you just to observe and listen.
Yahweh, Yahweh, faithful one, you have shown us the way through the years, through all.
That's good. Now, both were wrong. One was an obvious example of overplaying. This was a not so obvious example. You may have heard your team in this one. Okay? You may have heard what you guys do. Everybody looking for an opportunity to play and not listening. Second most important point that I can make about this thing of team dynamics after knowing time is listening. Most bands play in a vacuum. The thing that I found most of all in working with my young team was that they all just kind of lowered their head, stuck their tongue out, and went for it. Even after you told them exactly what to play, they would be playing what you told them to play, but they still were playing in a vacuum. They might as well have phoned it in. They were not connecting and interacting as musicians in any way, shape, or form. Now, this whole thing of learning the language of music is a very important thing. Some of you go, well, I'm not a musician. You're playing music, you're a musician. You're in this process that makes you a musician. Okay? And you go, well, does that mean I have to stay out late no. There's a new definition.
Keep your day job.
Yeah, keep your day job. However, you're doing music with people. And as you're doing that, this thing of communication is not only verbal, it's learning the lingo when we say, that's the groove, that's the right groove, it's, or finding a common language. That was something I had to work with my team. They finally knew what I meant when I was saying certain things. And that was important. Now that we could communicate, And then they started learning how I communicated with my guitar when we were in the worship leading process. I think he's going back around, guys. You know? Sometimes I just turn around and go one more time! You know? That was a little less subtle form. Oh my. The idea is that I'm working to communicate. I'm working, and then they started to slowly lift their heads, and they started to learn the songs enough that they could actually see where things were going. And in Terry's team, when playing with Terry, especially in the worship process, he can snap his fingers at about 120 decibels. It's the same noise, except in a snap form, as like standing underneath a jet when it takes off. I mean, you just hear this, and you hear this thing in the midst of a whole song, and he's like going, and then usually it's followed with a turn of the head, watch me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And
that's what I do.
He has this way of kind of getting your attention, and he's leading in that way, and that's part of arranging. That's part of how he's working out these arrangements and so forth. We learn to communicate with one another. Listen. Start listening to the other players. Now, this time, we're going to do Yahweh, and this is as the song would start. And remember my point earlier. The song is started, therefore I must be playing. One of the most important parts is learning how to build the song.
Yeah.
The song doesn't start with everybody singing. So often, I just start the process with just the worship leader playing, and we add things slowly so that the song does what it's supposed to do. This time you'll notice that Brian and Kelly will be looking and listening to one another in order to where to play. They don't want to play at the same time. You are going to do that, right, guys?
Yahweh, Yahweh, Ancient One, yet you're here today. Ageless One, changeless One, showing love to all generations. Show us your glory, oh Lord. Let your goodness pass before us, right before our eyes. And we will worship, and we will bow down, and we will call you Lord. I want to bring out the vocalists. We have Audra Sally. Nope, that's not her name. It's Audra Rosdick. She got married last year. And Christy Price to come out and help us. Randy's talking about this whole thing of following the leader. He was talking about his tendencies, things that he does that tells the band what he's going to do. And the longer I've been leading worship, the more I realize that those tendencies, those things that I developed, they just came naturally because of who I am. And the band is learning, really literally learning, to follow my body language. They're learning, I think he's going to do that chorus again. It's the intensity. I'm playing the piano, or, and I do this kind of a signal with the left hand. Us keyboard players can do that. And we can let go and do that. In fact, how many bass players does it take to change a light bulb? None. The keyboard player reaches over with his left hand and does it. So, how many? Yeah. Anyway. But, but we're talking here about this whole thing. Again, we're talking about following the leader and the sensitivity. I was at a conference recently, and a few months back, I won't tell you what state it was in or what church or anything like that. I led worship on a Sunday morning with their team. And a couple of my players, were people that are used to working with me, were there, but but a different team, and there were 4 singers. And we did a song called Psalm 19. And their approach to singing this song, they weren't watching me. They weren't sensing the feel, capturing the feel of the song and capturing what it was trying to do. It was too much of a clamorous intimacy, and I don't think that works. I think that's an oxymoron, don't you? That sense of feel of what God is doing, and the singers jumped right on the song. We're going to demonstrate real quickly. And it was sort of like this. Raina, you can help me out with this. I know you were just waiting for your opportunity to sing Psalm 19 like that.
I'd love to.
Ready to wail, ladies. It was amazing. I was leading the song, and I wasn't the leader. Get it? I was not the loudest voice. And no matter what the sound man did, probably, I wasn't the loudest voice. These people took off, and it was sort of like, so I went, and usually I start this song out singing it alone, and my worship team knows that I'll start out the first verse alone without their voices, but this is what it went like. So far we got intimacy, right? It went like this. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart. I'm not kidding. It was amazing. Just simply amazing. Again, guys, it's an issue of are we a team or not? Some of those singers were saying, I've only got one chance, I'm going to take it. And so, you know, some of it's heartfelt, and it's right. You know, their heart is right, but they don't understand the dynamic that they're taking over the song, or that those things they're doing are not helping, you know, Harry or George or Martha to enter into worship that morning. And so, you know, the opposite, of course, is the singers to my left watching me, you know, and helping out. Now, I want to stop right there and say this too. The whole idea is the band waiting and the singers waiting also allows the worship leader to establish the tempo. Maybe I've started the song out a little bit faster than I wanted to. If the drummer's right in right away, we're stuck with that rhythm. You get it? And so that can really be a problem. Also, the singers letting me let the song start breathing. Maybe I want to sing something or say something before I ever sing the line. So they watch me. Christy's been with me a long time in this worship process when we go out to conferences, places. And she is watching to see if she's supposed to jump in yet or not and wait. And she won't always just right on the mic jump in. She'll be back a bit. And she'll wait. She'll start, may the word, but she's not right on the mic yet. And she's watching how I'm singing it. Am I singing it breathy? She's singing it breathy. And they're being tentative in a good way. Just waiting. And then they'll know the flow begins to happen. So it should be, just watch what they're doing. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. May the words of my mouth, they're joining in, and the meditations but much more appropriately, see? Be pleasing to you, my God. Now we come in a little bit more of the instrumentation. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you. Oh, pleasing to you. May the words... See, appropriately we're starting to build. And by the time we get to the chorus, we're not at full volume, right? We're still building, and the song has those places. It has a place to climax. It has a place to peak. Great.
We're going to do a little bit of At the Cross. And I've heard some really interesting versions of this song traveling around. And well, the most interesting one was the... But we won't do that one. Let's demonstrate some insensitivity, and let's feature Kelly this time. So if we could make sure that he's plenty loud.
And this would fall under the category of choosing patches, choosing the sound, the appropriate sounds, as well as what to play. The second keyboardist isn't supposed to be doing the same thing as the one playing the basic piano or whatever. They're supposed to be looking for sounds. Oh, that's beautiful.
I know a place, a wonderful place, where accused and condemned find mercy and grace, where the wrongs we have done and the wrongs done to us, they'll bear with Him there on the cross.
Yeah.
At the cross, you died for our sin. At the cross, you gave us life again. At the cross, you died for our. It's good. It's real good. At the cross, give us life again. Unnecessary. In general, I'll select someone, I'll say on this particular song, that's good. Watch out for that thing. It could be such a distraction in worship to have people deciding that, well, I heard it on a recording once, therefore it must be okay. It's blessed now. That's not the case. Do what's appropriate. Do what's making worship work at your church. If you're taking too many vocal rides and stuff like that, don't do it. Sensitivity in the song. Dynamics in the song. It's got to get quiet sometimes. More and more as I lead worship, the more it just comes down to a few things. I can just play a note. And we could sing on top of that. Just a little bit of rhythm going on. And it doesn't take much. But there's this big contrast, like a hush comes over us. And we're in the presence of God and we're listening. And we start to sing something. And it's great. And that is contrasting to times when it is all hands on deck and it's loud and we're saying something, boom, and it's directive. We're saying, Lord, we worship you, we exalt you. Or we're singing at the end of At the Cross. At the cross, and it's big. There needs to be those differences, those changes, those volume swells up and down needs to happen so that the songs work and they breathe and they have emotion. Music has the power to bring about that emotion.
That's right. And the thing there is, too, is when I said about following the leader and the sensitivity on the part of the musicians, if their eyes are, looking at me, they're observing what's going on, if God breaks in and speaks to me as the worship leader and says, I want you to do that chorus again, they're following. If I want it the sound to just whoosh, come down to a hush, they're observing that. And I'll look over at the bass player and I'll just that means just cut out. I'll look over I've done this with Bill, drummer, and with others, is I'll look and he's about ready to play the kit, the full kit on a song, and I'll just do this. And he knows, grab the egg, we're going to do some shaker. And he puts the sticks down. What is he doing when he does that? He is facilitating the song the way I'm feeling that we're supposed to go with it. And he doesn't go, I don't want to do that. I brought these new sticks, I'm going to whack with them. He says, I'm going to grab the shaker because I'm going to trust that worship leader feels something else. The singer's the same way. Sometimes I'll look over him and I'll just let's hold off. They were going to bring in the harmony on the chorus and we were going to start belting. But it's not time. It's time to just rest and wait. And other times I do something, I call them rocking chords. You're in the midst of a song or towards the end of it, and you just want to do a pattern at the end of the song that frees the worship, and it's more of an open worship time for singers. And one of them could be like, a good example is what they did on the end of Refiner's Fire, where it just keeps going. And you can do it over and over again at the end of the song. You know what I mean? And then we can just sing whatever would happen, whatever the Lord is saying to us that morning. It can be a prayer. Now watch what the band's going to do. They're just going to be sensitive to this. And there's not going to be any lead solos here, And the singer's the same way. And you know what, leader? You're also observing what's going on. And maybe one of the instruments begins to do something, like Brian's doing over there, that really speaks. The guitar is speaking, you know? And then maybe one of my singers, one of the other singers, they've got something to sing. So I'm also observing too. I'm sensitive as well. I'm modeling it to the rest of the team. So Christy begins to feel something and she begins to sing it, or Audra. And I'm gonna facilitate that. You get the idea? Did you hear what they were doing? It's there. It's beautiful. It works. But nobody is competing. They are playing as servants. And again, we want that, don't we? We ask God to come into our service. Are we making a place for Him to say, you know what? I don't ever want you to get to the 5th song on the list. The number 4 song is it this morning. I'm going to come then, and I'm going to break in. And are we ready to hear that? Yes. Are we going to receive that? So the band goes, I played the same chords for about 20 minutes. I was so tired. But something was happening. People were getting touched. People were bowing and kneeling before God. Again, what's our purpose? To get through the list, or to facilitate what God wants to do that morning? Does that make sense? Right. Hope so. All right.
That line, that's not how we did it in practice, is crashing right into what he said. I don't know if you saw it. Physically, it was crashing. It's like, that's not what we played in practice. I come in right there, you know. Following musically is a major point of this. Following the leader. Some cases, I've played on a team with Kelly where the worship leader was playing, but we were directing what was going on with the band behind it. And I was following the leader and following Kelly at the same time because he was having a lot to do with what was arranging and going on. And there was little nods and little things, and we would know, and we just learned how to play, watching one another and being sensitive. And many Sunday mornings, I was playing bass on the team at the time with Davin and Kelly, and many Sunday mornings I'd just be standing back there, and I remember just, kind of the whole time just kind of looking, how can I serve Mark, who's leading right now, and how can I make sure I'm fitting in with what Kelly thinks should be going on, and we're connecting. We're not playing in our little musical vacuum. Go home with this. Go home with, I'm going to start listening to what other people are playing. Hey, that's pretty good. I think I don't need to play anything. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to do that? You got too much of your ego involved and too much of your identity wrapped up in what you're playing or singing? Cash it in. Cash it in. It's cash it in for you can accomplish more as a team than you can as an individual.
Yeah.
In this case, we're doing this to glorify and to serve God.
That's right.
So it's not about, this is the wrong place for your musical opportunity. Right. It's not your place for people to discover you. I heard you on that worship team and that, no. And I want you to go to Nashville with me. No, it's not.
That's right. That's right.
Wrong place. I tell my team, I go, do you know what could be going through my mind? I'll tell you why to follow me. As I'm playing this, 25 things can be going through my mind at the same time. There's John and Carrie, and hey, it's good to see them this morning. And it's great. Look at over there. Oh my goodness, I'm double booked for lunch. So. And what's the next words to the song? These are all the things that could be happening at a split second in a worship leader's mind. What are the next words? I don't even remember the second chorus to this, okay? That B string is still out of tune. I worked at that my tuner's broke or something. The pastor's not worshiping. That's not good. The bass player did that walk down wrong again.
That's right.
I'm thinking about, whatever it was I ate last night, I shouldn't eat that again. I'm thinking about, simultaneously, the words to the song, chords that I'm playing, the strum that this hand's doing, all of these things are going on. Sure, it's somewhat natural, but that's all those things are firing at the same time. And then the question is coming up, what's the Lord doing right now? That's where it comes in. This song has never worked. Hey, this really is working. God's moving. He's leading. Actually, he wants me not to do song 4. This morning, he's changing song 4. That's going to be too much of a stretch. God's doing something to prepare us for this one. This will work. This will best facilitate. I'm listening, Lord. I'm hearing you. You're the real worship leader. It's you, Holy Spirit. I'm listening to you. Okay, what are you saying? What are you doing right now? And even though the pastor doesn't get it, and he's just sitting there. Just kidding. Just kidding. That's not the
right.
case, is it? No. So as it turns out, though, where I'm playing and all these things are going on at the same time. And so it's important, even while I'm doing that, I'm thinking about having to direct the band, and that's why they need to be glued. They need you as support players, I must tell you over and over again, do that. And then those of you that are leaders, make sure that you're working with your team so that you really lead. Don't just stand up there and do your thing in a vacuum either. Just kind of play along, Direct your team.
That's right.
If you've got people playing things they shouldn't be playing on your songs, do the tough task and say, ooh, don't play that again, Don't do that again. I don't think that's working out, that's not fitting the mood or the feel of the song. Terry, I think you could probably go with that a little bit farther.
Well, it's a situation where you demonstrate to them what you're looking for. You paint the picture for your team of what that song will sound like when it's done, and you can prescribe some things and do it lovingly and gently, and carefully, but let them know that you do have a picture of what you want it to sound like. What we're talking about. It all boils down again, doesn't it, to servanthood and to servant-like attitudes, and that's so important. We've covered arrangement this morning. We've talked about the process, and that if you're playing, you're arranging. So you might as well, dive in and really do it intentionally. We've talked about sensitivity issues. We've talked about feeling what a song is supposed to do. What's God's intention for it? And we've talked about the role of each part of sensitivity one to another, following the leader, knowing his tendencies or her tendencies, and really being awake and aware of what God is doing.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to my God. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to my God. You're my rock and my redeemer. You're the reason that I sing. Desire to be a blessing in your eyes. Every hour, every moment, Lord, I want to be your servant. I desire to be a blessing in your eyes. In your may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to every word in my meditation. You're my rock. Oh, you're my rock and my words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to you. Be pleasing to you. Hear my heart cry. Hear me, Lord. Be pleasing to you. Hear us, Lord, as we call unto you. Let it be pleasing to you. Lift your hearts up to the Lord. Let us be worshipers, Lord, in spirit and truth. Be pleasing to
This has been a Vineyard Music Group production in association with Miracle Productions.